I'm back, baby! Yeah! What's up? Hello, YouTube. It has been a hot minute, and I apologize for that. I forgot my upload schedule. Yep, that is the excuse that I'm going for, because it's not an excuse. It's legitimate. I legitimately did forget my upload schedule, and that is my bad. So I want to start off this video by saying I'm sorry, and also, oh my gosh, thank you so much on the overwhelming support for my last video, my Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider trailer. Dude, I was not expecting anything to come of that, but the fact that you guys have got it to almost 10,000 views now, I think we're at 9.7K or something like that, it's just absolutely astounding. I have literally no words for it. I'm like still so in shock that anyone even cared about a tiny little edit video that I put out for a fake trailer. If you fell for that, I'm sorry. I just, you know, I was like, how do I want to do this? I want to make a trailer that seems legit enough that maybe Sony could have put it out, or Marvel. So thank you so much again for all the views. I am so happy that did well, and more importantly that you guys enjoyed it, because that just means that the quality of the work that I put out is enough to actually get traction, which is the most rewarding thing for me, honestly. As long as I can put out, you know, material that seems pro enough to maybe be real, I feel Gucci. I feel like I've done something. So thank you for validating me, everyone. Thank you. My hat's coming off to you. You saw by the title of this video what it's all about. I want to take you behind the scenes, sort of, on what it took to make that Spider-Gwen trailer, and the thought process, and a lot of the, you know, inner machinations that I sort of went through to get to that final end product, because my favorite part of watching a movie or a video or anything is hearing how they made it. So if I can, you know, satisfy someone's curiosity by telling you how you made it, or if you've never seen the trailer before, I'll link it down below and maybe in the card, so go watch it right now and then come back to this video and we'll talk about how it's made and what went into it. But yeah, I love behind the scenes, so if I can make my own behind the scenes video, then let's make it. Alright, this is how I made Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider trailer. Let's get it. Alright, the first step to any good behind the scenes video is, of course, the director's commentary. So I think the best way to recount to you exactly how I made this and sort of what went into it is to watch it with you first, and then, you know, throw in a couple clips that I shot while I was making it, just like on my phone, but you'll see those later. So right now we're gonna watch the trailer, and I'm gonna talk you through a little bit of how it went to make it. So let's go.
In every other universe, Gwen Stacy falls for Spider-Man.
Wow, I already have things to say. Okay.
And
So originally this dialogue that is playing right here, the in every other universe, right? That wasn't originally how it started. So this opening with the Sony logo and the Marvel logo that pop up here were done really last minute, because like I said, originally I had planned a different intro where we would sort of see Gwen from her other most famous appearances across Sony, Marvel, and cartoon properties, including stills from the actual comic, like the night Gwen Stacy died 1960s comic. Yeah, those were gonna go here in a sort of, like, in my mind what was a cool mashup, but on paper was actually a kind of cringy slideshow that I didn't end up liking. So I gave myself about 3 weeks to edit this project from start to finish. And by the time I had finished everything in that third week, I was sort of like day before deadline, getting ready to publish, and I still hadn't banged out the intro, which was going to be that, right, Gwen Stacy through the ages sort of thing. And I decided, I was like, you know what, that's going to be super lame. Why don't I just throw in a couple logos so it feels a little bit more legit, and I'll keep that line because it is so famous at this point. I think especially for this story. So yeah, fun fact, that came together, this intro, at like the very last second, because I couldn't be bothered to figure out how to do a cool montage from cartoon to comic to live action Gwen. So there you go. Nobody cares.
Alright, people, let's start at the beginning one last time.
Oh, these sound effects were fun. They were just like pulled off of YouTube.
I've been the one and only Spider-Woman.
And if you hear this audio in the background, it's a little bit crunchy. That's because I was using a tool to separate the in-scene audio from the background music, right? So if you remember that scene from Into the Spider-Verse, it's where Gwen's introducing herself, and there's like this really loud rock music playing in the background, which is great for the movie, right? It really sets the vibe. But for an edit where you want to get that line clean because you're putting new music underneath, you have to isolate that vocal. So there was so much vocal isolation going on in this video, so I really have to shout out people online who make free vocal isolation or music isolation tools. You guys saved my life. But yeah, I ended up spending, I think, at least 2 entire days just isolating audio and then working on piecing it together so that it would all fit, because you start off with an idea when you make a trailer about the story you want to tell, and I immediately knew I wanted to tell the story of a little bit more comic accurate Spider-Gwen from the 2014-2015 comics, while also really playing up the parts of her story from the beginning of Into the Spider-Verse and the beginning of Across the Spider-Verse. So that all came together here as a kind of like, what if story. But to do that, I really had to find the vocals and the specific lines that would make that story. So that took a minute, and that's why that audio at the front is a little crunchy, just from the fact that we pulled that, and by we I mean me, I pulled that from a video with just like a lot of noise in the background. So, oh my gosh, didn't mean to hit you. That's life. We're gonna keep going.
Sure, I've screwed up a few times, okay? Fine. Whatever, I'm still learning.
Oh, I guess I should point that out too. Right there. If you've never heard that Gwen Stacy line, it's because she never said it. Yeah, that line is not actually said by Gwen, and more specifically by Haley Steinfeld as Gwen in any of the films. And it's not AI either, because AI is gross, especially if you're stealing from actors or artists. So those audio lines were taken from Haley Steinfeld's role as Kate Bishop in Hawkeye, and I did that a lot for this trailer. I basically went in to find voice lines from other projects that Haley Steinfeld has been in. I'm kind of a fan, and I pulled those lines and was able to put them in here for some really incredible dramatic moments. So that line is from Hawkeye, and there's another line in here from Hawkeye where I think Gwen says something like, I know tonight didn't go the way that I planned, but, that line was also taken from Hawkeye, so a bit of that. Also later on, we will hear Tom Holland's voice, because I needed more Peter speaking lines for this fake trailer, and he's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Spider-Man, so there we go. That was a little glitch that I didn't catch till it was already uploaded, so
I didn't join a band,
that
so I
lighting,
could talk
that
about
opacity.
I joined it so I could hit my feelings with sticks.
Oh, that really tinny drum.
Look, I know that tonight didn't go as planned.
This
but
is the line. These are the
Thing
two
that
lines.
I've been wanting to talk to you about for a while.
Peter?
That was the hardest. I will say that. That was the hardest sequence to really figure out, that introduction of Gwen at the dance, because my big idea for this whole trailer, like I said, was really based around and off of the original Spider-Gwen comics and Ghost Spider comics. And one of the things that's really poignant, but also very forward facing in those comics, is the relationship between Peter and Gwen, because it is so much of why she is the way that she is, why she is Spider-Woman. Yeah, I was really enamored by the relationship they have with each other, because he is very much her Uncle Ben in her origin, and more than that, he is a little bit of a representation of her own hubris and her ego unmatched. If you've never read that comic, I would definitely recommend reading it. It is a big ouchie for your heart, but you find out that a lot of what Gwen does going forward is based on what she did to Peter, and the lizard and all of that. So one of the big focuses in making this trailer was I really wanted Peter and Gwen to feel like they were in conversation with each other, which sounds kind of crazy, right? Because they do talk like one or two times in Across the Spider-Verse in the beginning of the movie, but we don't get nearly enough young Peter lines. I wish we had more. But two, the whole idea for this project, like I said, was to really get back to those roots and that story. And in that story, they are in so much conversation with each other, just as characters, but also in flashbacks. So, like I said, it was really important to me that it felt like these characters were talking to each other, that they had talked to each other, and that they had a real relationship. This whole sequence where he becomes the lizard and I juxtapose in that noise and it's a big shock, that really had to play for me because that kind of sold part of the whole trailer. Because it is sort of their most prolific fight in the whole comics. It's a huge moment. So, yeah, that was my rambly explanation for
About
2
a
seconds.
while.
I wish we did have more Peter, though. It would have been much easier to edit this trailer if we had.
I was there. She ran from the scene.
Maybe she didn't have a choice.
Yeah, of course, we have to have her dad because he's the other...
Don't tell someone what's
George
going
Stacy's the
on.
other big,
You're gonna
not
snap.
villain, but our other big protagonist, antagonist
That
character.
doesn't make any sense because we were there, right? There was fire and destruction.
This is also pulled from
Who would do something like that?
Far From Home.
I was trying so hard to wear this thing the way you
I love this
want.
monologue. This, like, literally, it's such an incredible moment
And
for her.
I didn't. I can do all these things, but I can't help the people I love the most.
That line really inspired so much for this trailer because I think in many ways it is the crux of Spider-Gwen's emotional arc, is that she does feel like she's never strong enough, she's never enough, needs to be to save anyone. Ultimately what happened with the lizard and Peter is she was so cocky and she was trying to be this version of what she thought a superhero was, and in the end she ended up, beating her best friend to death, which, woof, yeah, we didn't pull punches there. But later on in the comic, she ends up confronting her other best friend, Harry Osborn, who we never see in her backstory. Really sad. I would have loved to put Harry in this trailer. Sony, please edit him. Sony, please animate him in the new movie. But yeah, we never see Harry, but Harry's a big part of her and Peter's arc in the comics, and especially about her guilt and what it means to be a hero, because in her universe, Earth 65, Harry does become the Green Goblin, and his whole vendetta is against Spider-Man because Spider-Woman, killed his best friend, and he thinks that she did it to humiliate him, and it was a very humiliating death, and it was really not nice. It was not a nice scene, and Harry saw all of it, and so they have a lot of drama there. So again, Gwen's monologue, getting back to what I was commenting on, Gwen's monologue where I can't help the people I love the most. It hits. It just hits different when you know. And I mean, I get it in the context of Across the Spider-Verse. She's talking about, her father and Miles and whatnot, but in the context of the comics, which is sort of what I was editing this trailer to be, it's really speaking to, these relationships she has in her life that she's kind of let all of them down. So, yeah. Anyway,
You lied to me.
nerd moment.
I trusted you.
Oh, that scene. Okay, I'll just talk about that really fast. If you see these that I clicked together, this was another hard sequence to know what to do with, because if this had been a real movie, right? If this had been a real Spider-Gwen movie that they'd made, and Peter had this line, right? You lied to me, and I trusted you, which is a really compelling line, right? Especially when we know that Peter is the lizard, and he knows right at the end, we figure out he knows that Gwen is Ghost Spider. But it's a moment that if it was in an actual movie, right, he would probably be facing her and we'd see it and he'd sort of have a very distraught expression. But obviously it doesn't exist, because that line, while yes, it was said by Peter Parker, it was said by Peter Parker from from MCU's Earth to Mysterio in No Way Home. It's when he says on the bridge when Mysterio's gonna set off all those bombs from Edith. This was hard to figure out how to cut it together, because I was like, oh God, what do I put there? Obviously we don't have a line, we don't have a shot where Peter is looking at Gwen all horrified. So instead I almost thought of this short sequence where we see her drop down and get bitten, and then her in class and stuff. I almost thought of it as like, this is from Peter's perspective, the reveal of Gwen. So right, he sees her drop down. We kind of get an explanation. Oh, remember the spider bite? She was bitten. This is her in class. Like, this is how he remembered her. And then maybe this is how she is, right? This is who she is. Maybe this is her reaction to him saying that line. Because, like I said, the big challenge with this whole trailer was getting these characters to be in conversation with each other, having conversations that they've never had. So, which sounds crazy, but it was a lot of alluding to what would be said, what would this look like if this was the scene. Which is partially why this trailer just took so darn long. It was a lot of fine-tuning like this, just thinking about all those different things. Like, that little shot right there was a cut from, I think, the very beginning of Across the Spider-Verse. It's just like 2 frames of Spider-Gwen's logo going from white to pink and black to pink. And I just put it in there because I hoped that it spoke to that realization for Peter. Anyway.
Trusted you.
Move my mouse.
I don't even know what the right thing is anymore. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I know I can't lose one more friend.
Yeah, I like this sequence a lot. Just 'cause it's action.
You're the best thing.
Oh yeah, and this. I loved this. Talking to my father.
You did this?
This was the most artsy one. Layering them over top of each other. Like, these 2 scenes. Because I feel like the sequence is pretty obvious there, right? It's about, right, it's her, the realization I wanted to say of her realizing that Peter had betrayed her as well and become the lizard, which is something that she didn't, right, he's not a bad guy and now he's a monster, and there's sort of this horrible realization there. But yeah, this would be, right, in our movie, if this movie existed, Gwen realizes, oh my god, you're the lizard, you've been doing all these things, you never told me anything, you've been living a double life, which is crazy, right, because she has also been living this double life. So I really wanted to juxtapose one of the only shots we have of Peter from all of the Spider-Verse, what will be a trilogy, but the Spider-Verse 2 movies, and they're layered on top of each other, technically. So
Why did you do this?
right, they're sort of on frame with each other, and then we kind of get the explanation for how and why Peter became the lizard, even though Gwen at this point wouldn't know. But right, it's this idea that Gwen is fighting Ned at the same time as, you know, Ghost Spider is fighting the lizard, and it's a parallel. I don't know, it's very obvious. It's nothing new. And then we get, right, the one other shot we have of them together is this tiny little breakfast, if I can even isolate it, I literally can't. This like breakfast nook scene right here, which is like the only other scene we ever have of them together, like interacting in the movies. Yeah, where she's, you know, remembering him as he was and then who he's become and how did we end up here, and yeah, that was just that was what was going through my mind.
Special. Like you.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, this was fun. These fast cuts were really, really fun to do. And this. Yeah, so this is actually, I'll explain this because this was fun. Because I felt a little bit like the director here. So this scene is was originally colored that really pretty pink and like peachy from the fight from Across the Spider-Verse where Gwen's at the museum. But as you can tell, we have already a lot of shots that are color-coded like that, right? That really pretty pink and peachy, and they're obviously from that scene, and they all kind of look like they probably were in the same scene together. So obviously, if this is a real movie, a lot of these reveals and emotional conversations wouldn't be happening in the same scene. There'd be different scenes, and I wanted to kind of sell that illusion that like this is all happening at different times in the movie. So I recolored this scene to be really blue, and I pulled the audio from the scene previous, where this scene, there is a moment when Gwen runs up to Peter and she does say, oh, Peter, like, you know, this like awful sad sigh when she's holding his dead body. And I isolated that vocal and I pulled it for that ending.
Wanted to be special.
As if to say, you know, she had fought him. But yeah, this was really fun. The quick clips. Yeah, and then this is like,
Peter.
Right, she never says that in that costume, in that moment, but it fit really well, so that was fun. And then here we just have some motion graphics that I whipped up, 30 minutes before uploading. Shouts out to whoever pulled that logo from the comics. I just pulled that JPEG, that PNG off the internet, and I got to use it, so really grateful to whoever did that. I will now let you go off and go check out some other clips that I have in store for you, which are a few behind the scenes clips of when I was actually editing this. And then, I will see you guys next time. So enjoy the clips that are going to come at you now, and I will catch you back at the end of the video.
Everybody on my signal! Look out for signs of Spider-Woman!
Are you okay?
You don't hang out and you don't want to talk.
I didn't join a band so I could talk about my feelings. I joined it so I could hit my feelings with sticks. Look, I know that tonight didn't go as planned, but
There's this thing that I've been wanting to talk to you about for a while.
Peter?
Yeah, I was there. She ran from the scene.
She didn't have a choice. You don't tell someone what's going on, you're gonna snap.
I'm fine.
That doesn't make any sense because we were there, right? There was fire and destruction. Who would do something like that?
You say eliminated or illuminated?
Okay, so the library was a little bit of a bust. If you saw where I was sitting, yeah, basically everyone today decided today was library day, which is great for the public library, but not so great if you were looking for a place to sit with a wall socket. So I found one spot that I was originally going to sit, and none of the sockets worked there, so I had to walk around the whole building, find another place, found one spot, and I basically had to commandeer a library cart as a desk and try to get some stuff done. It was definitely like half my mind was on my work and half my mind was on not getting yelled at by the librarians, but it's okay. I got a little bit of work done, so we're definitely gonna have to put in some hours today at home. I think I'm gonna try to set up a second monitor when I get back to my house. You can see the best part in the background. I'm gonna try to set up a second monitor when I get to my house, just see if that helps my workflow go a little bit faster, but I feel like I am very close to doing what I need to do before I can just start banging this edit out. So cross your fingers, cross your toes. What up, everybody? It is Sunday. It is officially the last day that I can work on my trailer. So today we are doing our final audio mix and some VFX motion graphics, and then we're done. Let's get it! Alright, lads, that is the end of our behind the scenes tour, or just this cool walkthrough of what it took to get to our final Spider-Gwen trailer. I want to once again thank you guys so much for all the support on that video, both to my new subscribers and if you've been subscribed before, thank you so much to all of you, okay? Big round of applause, wowzers. Like I said, I'm sorry for not uploading. I really did forget my schedule, but don't worry, I'm going to make it up to you, I promise. If you have been on this channel for a long time, you'll know we don't always do Spider-Man content. Sometimes we do art stuff, and sometimes we do video game stuff, and sometimes we just do arts and crafts projects that I'd like to do in my free time. So coming up, we are getting back into our art roots, and I'm going to have a tablet review video up for you very, very soon. And by very soon, I mean actually very soon, okay? I'm sorry. Again, we are back to our regular upload schedule, which, if you didn't know, you get 2 videos a month over here, alright? In Babs is not that bad. We get 2 videos a month. And don't have anything else to say. I'm just being a clown. I will see you guys super duper soon. There's a ton of fun stuff coming down the pipeline, including some really fun vlogs, because I've had some fun stuff going on in my life that I'm excited to share with all of you. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Subscribe if you'd like to. That would be really cool. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. And I will see you guys next time. Boop.